Bodhicitta, Aspiration, Causes and Conditions, and Kalyanamitra. Hello and welcome. Today, we're going to dive deep into a core concept in Buddhism, Bodhi-mind Bodhicitta. I have some reference materials on the causes and conditions for arousing Bodhi-mind, and the importance of drawing near to good spiritual teachers, Kalyanamitra. These materials cite essential scriptures like the Avatamsaka Sutra, Yen Sutra, which are foundational texts. My goal today is to break down what Bodhi-mind truly is. Why is it considered so important, even superior to the state of an arhat? How does it arise? And what role do these good spiritual teachers play in this process? Let's explore these questions together. First, let's discuss the fundamental differences between the starting points of a Bodhisattva and a Sravaka, a hearer or Pratyekabuddha solitary realizer. What distinguishes their ultimate goals? The most fundamental difference lies in the breadth of their aspiration. Sravakas and Pratyekabuddhas aimed for their own liberation. A Bodhisattva's aspiration, however, isn't for themselves. It's to help all sentient beings achieve true happiness and freedom from suffering. This vastness of heart is completely different. The scope is immense, almost infinite, because their goal is so vast. A Bodhisattva must cultivate what's called all-knowing wisdom, Sarvajla. All-knowing wisdom refers to a wide range of knowledge and methods to help people of all different backgrounds and capacities. You need to understand which methods are most effective for them. You have to be able to teach and guide them according to their individual needs. Therefore, this initial aspiration alone, the Bodhisattva's thought, I will act for the sake of all beings, is considered extraordinarily powerful and meritorious. Here's a question I have, as the material seems to have a contradiction. It mentions that Bodhisattvas still have afflictions like greed, anger, and delusion, unlike arhats who have eliminated them completely. So why is a Bodhisattva's aspiration, or even a Bodhisattva themselves, considered superior? That's an excellent question. It really gets to the heart of potential and direction. While Bodhisattvas haven't completely eradicated their afflictions, their study of these afflictions isn't just to overcome them for themselves. More importantly, they aim to understand them so they can teach others how to deal with them. The very process of interacting with and teaching others about the Dharma is, in itself, an incredibly efficient form of practice. The text mentions the example of Purna Maitreyaputra. The literature says he constantly taught others the Dharma, and in the process, he spontaneously became enlightened and attained the state of an arhat. This shows that as you continuously analyze and explain to others what afflictions are and how to solve them, your own understanding and concentration deepen. Sometimes, afflictions can be subdued more easily this way than by practicing in isolation. I also remember the material mentioning that Bodhisattvas possessed qualities that arhats typically lacked, such as skillful means Abhayakaushalya and boundless compassion Mahakaruna, which they develop for the benefit of all beings. Skillful means can be understood as the wisdom, methods, and strategies for guiding others. Although an arhat's mind is pure and free from afflictions, they generally lack the powerful motivation and extensive capacity to actively re-enter the cycle of samsara to help countless beings. The analogy in the material is particularly vivid. A Bodhisattva's mind is like gold, while an arhat's mind, though without fault, is like an iron ingot. The material itself is fundamentally different, and so are their values and function. It's not a matter of degree, it's a difference in essence. So, how does such a powerful Bodhi-mind arise? The Avatamsaka Sutra mentions 10 causes and conditions, such as to discipline and guide all sentient beings, to eliminate the sufferings of all sentient beings, to bring true happiness, and wisdom to all beings, to respectfully make offerings to all Buddhas and learn from them. These all revolve around one core principle and point in one direction. Their starting point is always for the sake of others. The material also presents a particularly interesting analogy, the inverted triangle. Sentient beings are the foundation. At the very top, representing the widest scope. They are the core of the service. Sentient beings are fundamental. Exactly. The Dharma teachers are in the middle, acting as a support and a connection. The practitioners themselves is at the bottom tip, using their practices and actions to support the teachers and, by extension, the vast number of sentient beings above. This perspective immediately turns our usual self-centered thinking on its head. This is certainly a different perspective. However, such a vast aspiration must be difficult to maintain on your own. I notice that the material heavily emphasizes the importance of drawing near to good spiritual teachers. This is absolutely critical. What exactly is a good spiritual teacher? Do they have to be a Buddha or a Bodhisattva? Not necessarily. Here, a good spiritual teacher refers to someone you can actually encounter and who can provide tangible guidance. They might be a manifestation of a Buddha or Bodhisattva, but they could also appear to be a completely ordinary person. The key is that they can genuinely help you. There are two key points. They must be accessible, and they must be able to guide and transform you. This means they can genuinely help you transition from not knowing to knowing, from being afflicted and suffering to being serene and happy, like a wise friend or a reliable mentor. That's the idea. The material also lists 10 types of attitudes one should have when approaching a good spiritual teacher, such as the mind of a servant, willing to offer services, the mind of joy, a deep inner happiness, mind of non-defiance and compliance, listening to and following their teachings, the mind of shared aspiration, aligning your goals with your teachers, and ultimately, the mind of a Tathagata Buddha, recognizing that your own nature is inherently the Buddha's naturothesi. All sound like very positive and humble mindsets. This kind of face-to-face guidance and influence, along with the cultivation of these attitudes, is incredibly important for beginners who are trying to overcome old habits and afflictions. It's irreplaceable. Without guidance, you can easily go astray or just spin your wheels. From this discussion, it seems the core of Bodhi mind is a powerful aspiration of compassion that is entirely for others. It doesn't just require you to learn many things and master all-knowing wisdom. It also emphasizes the need for a good teacher to guide you and for you to earnestly practice what you learn. Even a tiny thought to benefit others at the very beginning is considered precious. That's right. This fundamentally redefines the goal of practice. It's no longer just about me practicing for my own liberation, as long as I'm okay. Instead, you put yourself on a much broader journey of serving all sentient beings. In this process, you not only transcend your own afflictions and limitations, but also actively seek to understand, engage with, and try to solve the various sufferings of the world by helping others. You also learn and grow. This perspective is truly expansive. Finally, here's a thought for our listeners to consider. The material repeatedly says that a bodhisattva must master all-knowing wisdom to help all sentient beings. So, in today's society, with its information overload and numerous challenges, what kinds of knowledge or skills are truly essential for effectively helping others and promoting the well-being of all? And how can ordinary people like us begin to learn and cultivate these?